And welcome back to Jeff Koinange live at the Intercontinental Hotel. What a conversation we're having with Ngunjiri Wambugu. We're actually 2 years away from the next election, but it looks like the scenario is being set up as we speak. We're watching it eyes wide open. Creation of JAP, that's the Jubilee Alliance Party, bringing together URP and TNA. CORD trying to reinvigorate itself, and other players trying to be relevant, for lack of a better word. Ngunjiri, I was asking you about the CORD a moment ago. There's one person we actually haven't forgotten from Western. We have forgotten from Western. My assistant director reminded me. Madividi. What happened to it? Was Madividi all crushed or what?
He missed the moment.
He missed it?
Yes. I mean, and politics is a really, really ruthless, unforgiving game. Mudavadi banked on the fact that there was going to be a runoff.
Right.
And in a runoff, he was going to be a player. He would have negotiated. The minute there was no runoff, he basically now lost that, because first and foremost, he doesn't even have a party now, does he?
No.
See, the UDF has been taken away from him.
Correct.
Really. I mean, they even said he was not a member of UDF.
Yeah? So he's partyless.
So he's partyless. He doesn't have anything to offer. I think also he's been played around, pulled along by Jubilee and then let go. Because at some point, there was an assumption he'd be given a minister position.
Yeah.
Now it's so bad that even if he was given a minister position, I don't think it would make a difference. Because he has to compete with Ababu, who's Secretary General of ODM, which is actually the largest party, or the second largest party in the country. He has got to compete with Wetangula, who is the co-principal. You know, they say the deputy principal is Kalonzo. I've never known what Wetangula actually is. Let's just call him co-principal.
He insists he's a co-principal,
yes. Yeah. So we have Wetangula and Ababu, and then we've got Musalia. So he's starting this game like two rounds behind. And in 2 years, I don't see how he would catch up. However, he can become a project of someone else.
Can he be a running mate? Can he bring anything to the table as a DP?
If you're going to look for a running mate from Western, you can talk to Wetangula. And Wetangula is smart enough, if you are viable enough to be able to offer him a running mate, and it makes sense, he'll most probably take it. So if you have to choose between Wetangula and Mudavadi, you have a problem. Now, what Mudavadi has going for him is that he's an elite. He's a second generation. I mean, he's like Uhuru or Gideon Moi, or he's got networks in places we don't know. So you can't really completely write him off, but he cannot come back by his own. Somebody would actually have to help him along. Uhuru could choose to help him. The Moi networks could choose to help him. Yeah. But where he is right now, he can't get out by himself. Yeah. Not in my opinion.
And I'm sure they're thinking more, if Ruto was to go away, Gideon will be the obvious replacement,
yes.
won't he?
They can't take it away from Rift Valley. Yeah. Not if they want us to have peace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So could Gideon bring...
We couldn't even take away the Inspector General's position.
Correct. Imagine.
There's no way you're going to take the Deputy President from Rift Valley.
No.
You guys can shout and scream and say this country is for two people, two communities, but you're not taking some positions away from Rift Valley.
Does it matter who it is? I mean, would Gideon be the obvious one, or would there be, the other folks in the Rift?
No, Gideon is nearly the obvious one. Why? Because Gideon is a lot like Uhuru, the reluctant prince, who the community knows we have a fallback. There is always going to be a fallback, and that's what Gideon is to the Kalenjins, and I think he understands that and operates on that space. You don't see him causing scenes. You don't see him ruffling any feathers. He's okay. Yeah. He knows that if there is ever a problem, you just need to call and I will step in.
So I'm the default guy.
He's the default guy, which is a bad thing for number two, because also the deputy president must be feeling that heat. And remember, Gideon has his own party.
Yes.
Which I'm
the one you're in. I was going to mention that.
Has his own party that's got roots also going to many places. So whereas he might not be able to win a national election right now, it still has Baringo, it still has, I mean, and if for example, if he was to get into a relationship with Isaac Ruto, he'd cover out quite a bit of Rift Valley. If he started, in fact, it would be dangerous if he started going around the country talking to other places. Because Gideon can never be a challenge to Uhuru, but he can be a challenge to nearly anyone else.
And don't forget who the professor of politics is.
Yes. His dad is still behind there looking and saying, we keep forgetting that Moi wanted Uhuru to be president. Yeah. Uhuru is president today. So if he's planning things, I'd be very uncomfortable if I was on his wrong side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kenyatta Moi round 2, is that possible down the line? Can we see another
I think
deja vu?
that would be Moi Senior's dream. Now, how to make it happen? You have a problem of the fact that William Ruto actually earned the leadership of the Kalenjin. You know, he's not inheriting it. So you'd have to give the Kalenjins a very good reason to move their loyalty from William Ruto to Gideon Moi. But again, stranger things have happened.
No doubt about it. Yes, much stranger. Speaking of strange, Mike Mbuvi Sonko, the little kid who nobody knew, won a by-election, right? Remember?
Yes.
And then from there has been, boom, straight to the top.
You know, the first time I saw Mike Sonko was in a fundraising for the Yes campaign in 2010. So there was this fundraising at KICC, and we were all taking money there. And then as I'm trying to get to climb the stairs, this hammer comes, golden hammer, H3, just comes and parks in front of the stairs, and big guys come out. And then this guy comes out in a brown suit and a hat, cockily, you know, cocky, and then he just bounces up, and I'm thinking, so who's that guy? He says, anakuanga na matatu Nairobi. And then he goes in, and guys are contributing 20,000, 50,000. Sonko gives 100,000 bob. Ministers were giving 20,000 and 50,000 bob.
This unknown guy
from nowhere went and gave 100,000 bob, and somewhere halfway down the fundraising gave another 100,000 bob, and everybody noticed. Then a couple of months later, there's a by-election in Madaraka, and you have to give it to him. The one thing we keep underestimating as we talk about Sonko is his tenacity. Because he fought the big fish for the by-election of Makadara. He was running against PNU and ODM.
That's right.
And they had sworn that either of them can take the seat, but not him. He did door-to-door campaigns, literally. I mean, I was being told the way he would sleep in a house and wake up in the morning and continue down the line.
Whoa.
So he's tenacious. He's also picked up something very interesting. I call him the Julius Malema of Kenya. He's picked that angle of the unspoken aggressiveness and brashness of politics. He now represents it. So every time you think about politics, we've got the nice guys in suits who do bad things. And then now we have Sonko, who doesn't pretend. If you come up with if he comes along you and you try and stand in his way, he'll run you down. You know? I mean, there was that incident of his bodyguards carrying AK-47.
That's right. That's right.
And I have seen his vehicles in town. This is a guy who has completely cut a brand out for himself. And in politics, you can never go wrong with a brand. It doesn't matter that your brand is negative. Julius Malema was kicked out of ANC and made it back into parliament with 13 other members of parliament.
Can you imagine?
In some brand
in his own party,
Yes, in a party where they used to wear overalls and gumboots. And he's still giving ANC a hard time. So this is the thing about Sonko. Sonko is the kind of person who you would rather have on your side. And I see Jubilee struggling with that. They know maybe sometimes he makes them uncomfortable, sometimes maybe he embarrasses them, but they're like, you know what? This guy is better off on our side. You don't want Sonko coming after you.
No. Could he be the next governor of Nairobi?
That would be a hard sell.
You think so?
I think Nairobians are going to give Sonko nearly anything else he wants. The problem we have is that now people are starting to understand what a governor is supposed to do.
Which people? You and I, middle class, or the people who vote?
Well, yeah, that's a good question.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, that's a really good. And anyway, there's Nigeria. We have some amazing governors in Nigeria.
Correct.
So he could actually get it.
You know what I'm saying?
Actually get it.
Absolutely.
And remember, he got the third highest number of votes in the country.
800 and something thousand.
He got more votes than Mudavadi, who was running for president.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Really. Yeah.
And more than Uhuru Kenyatta in Nairobi County.
Yes.
Right?
He got his votes, he got ODM votes. He's Nairobi County Sonko, you cannot underestimate. And this Sonko rescue team of his is brilliant politics. What he's actually done is created a political structure that is working in people's lives. And he seems like he's able to sustain it over the next few years. I mean, he's giving guys limos to get married.
Free. No charge.
There you are.
You know, you call him the Julius Malema. I call him the Robin Hood of Kenyan politics.
That's true.
But the one thing we are not questioning, any of us, is where the money comes from.
Yes, we don't ask those kind of questions in Kenya. No,
we don't.
No. You can you don't ask those kind of questions.
so he continues with the services.
Yes,
buildings collapse. His guys are there. They're sweeping the streets.
They sweep the streets. They clean up garbage. They show up whenever there's a crisis.
Yeah.
And you see, this is the thing about our country. People talk badly about people who have shady backgrounds on their finances, but you want that person to help you.
Yeah.
No, I mean, people line up in Sonko's office for help. And a lot of people in this country who have money who you can't really place where it came from are some of the most popular people we have. Why? Because they have learned that for as long as you're using the money to help society, nobody's really going to ask.
Yeah.
I mean, there are people who have more money than him who don't do anything for society. So, hey, at least you remember that time they were saying, you can say he's a thief, but he's ours.
He's our thief.
Yeah.
He's our thief.
That's the thing about Sonko. You cannot...
And these are the rich ones. If you go to their offices, they're not going to see you.
No.
They're not going to see you.
That's the thing about Sonko.
Yeah.
Sonko is going to walk in the streets. He is going to be out there rolling on the tarmac. He's a regular guy with a lot of money. And for a lot of guys in the streets, that's their dream right there. No, they see him and they're like, if Sonko can make money, why can't I?
Yeah.
So people look at Uhuru and they say, well, I can never be like Uhuru. I can never be like Raila. I can never be. But you look at Sonko and you're like, you know what? I could actually be like Sonko. So he's become an inspiration
in a way.
A lot of young people.
In a strange kind of way.
Yes, in a strange kind of way. Especially people who come from the so-called third world.
Yeah.
People whose circumstances don't have no light at the end of the tunnel. And they're looking at him and they're saying, "Mana, kama Sonko amefika hapo, hata mimi naweza fika hapo."
And he makes the intellectual, Dr. Evans Kidero, the governor himself, he makes him look bad.
Very bad.
In his own county.
Very, very bad.
In his town.
Very bad. Because when you think about it, every time there's been a crisis, Sonko has been there.
Yeah.
And even when there's no crisis, Sonko is going to be going to court. You know, remember that case he did for Kenya Airways? He's actually very smart. We all seem to imagine that he's just this
thug.
He's actually very smart.
Yeah.
Either he's got a brilliant think tank, because he's able to always pick those things that are attractive to a lot of people. So you keep saying, okay, I don't like how he dresses, I don't like how he talks, I don't like his rings, but man, when you have a problem, you want Sonko on your side. He called Uhuru on the telephone and stopped the demolition. He fetched.
Can you imagine?
No one else can do that.
That's powerful, man.
Yeah.
Powerful. Before I let you go, we're going to switch gears completely and talk about hate speech real quick, and we'll touch about two guys. Wadi, who got jailed for 2 years because of the hate, and I saw a lot of the hate on Facebook and social media. And Moses Kuria, what's the difference between the two?
I mean, we've reached a point where I have to say the difference is blood between the two. I think personally, and Moses is a good friend of mine, I have supported him in many places. I think sometimes he does push the envelope too much. I think he could most probably justify it and say, look, we are getting pressure, we are getting insulted left, right, and center. But then he's now in a position where he can do something about it, rather than be accused of doing. Now I'm being very careful not to say he's done.
No, you say he's in authority now.
Yes, he's in a place where he can actually do something about it. When he was outside, I mean, he could most probably get away with what he was doing. Right now, it becomes very difficult to actually defend him in some of the things that he's doing. The difference between now Moses and Wadi is that Moses appreciates sometimes the enormity of his mistakes and goes out of his way to do something about them. For example, you saw him reaching out to the National Cohesion Integration Commission. You saw him going to the media to try and basically spin that issue. And you saw him with pretty good lawyers in court. Wadi is just some lost guy.
Full of hate.
Full of hate.
And venom.
And then, unfortunately, it's completely misdirected, completely misguided, and then he doesn't have, and he had all these guys cheering him on. That was the saddest thing for me. When Wadi started posting the kind of stuff he was posting, everybody was cheering him on. People were sharing his posts. I mean, everybody was saying, this is a brilliant guy. The minute he got jailed, he was on his own.
Literally.
Nobody, even smart guys who were sharing his stuff, who could tell him, make sure you have a lawyer. Didn't tell him.
No.
Guy showed up and he actually said he was guilty.
Ooh.
What do you, it's like when you're accused of murder and you say you're guilty, you know that you really leave the judge with no alternative than to throw you in. There's no defense. I mean, you're saying, yes, I did it. You're telling me I insulted the president? Yes. Did I say he should be killed? Yes, I did it. What you're going to get thrown into jail.
And
so
then
there are
all your
people
friends.
there are people who are arguing and saying, you know, Wadi is in jail, Moses is not, but they're forgetting that the circumstances are different. Moses actually went out of his way to defend himself. Wadi didn't even try. Just in mitigation, he said, I would like to meet the president and say, sorry. There's no way the president's going to meet you. So you've been calling him names, it's not happening.
After you've been calling for his assassination?
No, it's not happening.
Come on.
Yeah. So
Kind of dumb, huh?
he's a bit dumb. And I hear he's a smart guy.
Yeah, that's what everyone
That's
says.
what everybody says.
Yeah,
but
from the sidelines.
apparently, not smart enough.
No.
No.
And 2 years could be a long time for someone in the slammer.
Well, he's going to learn a few things. By the time he's out,
Yeah.
and it's sad because he's actually a young guy. And yes, you can tell he's brilliant in terms of his thinking. But, you know, brilliance must be managed. We're getting carried away. And, we were to talk about activism. We're getting carried away with our rights.
Yeah.
And the spaces we've been given,
Yeah.
and forgetting that every right comes with a responsibility. That is the one thing civil society, guys, and I'm in civil society, but I keep pointing fingers at some guys. They don't tell us that for every right that you demand, it has a responsibility. So when you demand the right to say whatever you want, then you have the responsibility of sustaining and supporting everything you say. So if I say Jeff is like this, I must be able to stand up and when I'm called out to justify it. I can't say bad things about you. When I'm challenged, I say I have the right to say whatever I want.
Right.
No, it doesn't work like that.
No, it doesn't.
No.
That's the difference, and that's a responsibility people have
The
to learn.
responsibility aspect is what Kenyans haven't learned. We now know our rights the back of our hand.
Yeah.
But we don't know that for when we demand security from the government, then we have the responsibility of supporting the government to actually equip us with that. We have the responsibility of giving them information. You can't tell the government to catch terrorists and then refuse to say when they're next door.
Mm-hmm.
And you're wondering, kwani polisi wanafanya nini?
Yeah, si ni kazi yao.
Si ni kazi yao. The guy's going to blow you up.
Yeah.
You know, so you have a responsibility to every time you get a right, comes even the children, even when children are growing up, initially you take care of everything. As they grow older, they get something that they can get away with, but if they make a mistake, you spank them. You don't spank them when they're younger. So that's the way it goes.
Finally, and it's still early in the year, so we can still look ahead to 2015. Is it going to be an interesting year?
Politically, in my opinion, yes. I mean, this year is going to end very different from how it's begun. JAP is going to be an interesting animal to watch over the next 11 months. CORD as well. But then I also have a feeling that there's going to be a lot of realignments. I can see realignments in Rift Valley. I can see Rift Valley. I would keep an eye on Isaac Ruto, because his second term for governor comes up, ends somewhere in the middle of this year.
Yeah.
And when it ends, I don't think he can run again. So it will be interesting to see where he's going to go. Of course, in the military, we have Karangi retiring this year. So it's going to be an interesting transition to watch as well. Of course, people are now preparing. Anybody who's running for any office starts preparing now. So we're going to see a lot of new faces emerging. I'm sure we're going to see attempts at a third force. It's always done. It's going to happen this year.
Yeah.
So this is going to be an interesting year.
Yeah. You going to take a stab at it?
I'm thinking about it. By people. See? You see, that's what I've learned that line.
Yeah.
So
people have been talking. Yeah.
People have been talking.
Yes.
People have been coming to see me at home, and
I can see you in there, though.
Well,
I can see you in there.
I'm listening to the people, and my former boss used to say, the voice of the people is the voice of God.
Who's your former boss?
Raila Odinga. So you must listen. I mean, he knows what he's talking about.
Baba.
Yeah, Baba. You must listen.
Always good to see you, man. Great analysis.
Thank you for that.
Ngunjiri Wambugu, as always, insightful, sober, and yes, forward-thinking and forward-looking. That's what I keep saying on this show, folks. We gotta keep talking, because the moment we stop talking is the moment we start fighting, and we do not want to go down that slippery slope. Keep tweeting at Ngunjiri Wambugu, at Koinange Jeff. The hashtag is JKL. Tomorrow night, yet another fallen hero, an athlete who was at the top of his game, former Commonwealth and Olympic gold medalist Billy Conchella. The accusations and the hell he went through, simply unbelievable. But he's still standing and still talking and walking. That's tomorrow night, right here. Chef Koinange live, only on Kenya's television network, KTN. Thanks for watching. Good night. Good luck.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, brother. Great job.